Now we talk about MetaZoo. At this point in time, for the first time in all the years with MetaZoo, I haven't had any communication with the MetaZoo mic and the company, really. I don't know what's going on. I've sent a couple text messages. I haven't had any responses. In my opinion, for the very first time, I am very skeptical of how MetaZoo is going to be able to pull out of this Hello Kitty situation. This was such a devastating hit for MetaZoo. I don't know how the path forward with MetaZoo is going to work. I am extremely skeptical, and at this point, for the first time in years, the misstep and blunder and the lack of action that was taken in the radio silence is such. I haven't seen a devastating, disappointing, sad situation like this since something like Force of Will releasing Millennia of Aegis, Magic the Gathering releasing Baldur's Gate, a straight collapse. But Baldur's Gate did come back. Force of Will, the trading card game after Millennia Aegis, still makes products, still makes new releases, and they do pretty good. They're just very small. To me, it looks like after the damage, this is the first time I've seen so many of my own MetaZoo supporters in other MetaZoo content creators, in people who sell MetaZoo and love the game and IP. It's the first time I've seen everybody going like this. Oh, God. Apparently, I've seen messages to some other MetaZoo YouTubers and LGSs who bought a lot of MetaZoo Hello Kitty. And I mean hundreds of boxes. And obviously, I think a wholesale cost is like $75 to $80 a box or something. I'm not sure what the exact price is for a small store or large store. I don't know how that works with the distribution on that. But I could tell you the complete collapse of everybody is saying that if MetaZoo works with one of the biggest brands in the world, the Kurami company, with Hello Kitty, and the product comes out at $100, $110 a box, and collapses 40% in 10 days, if they couldn't make that work, everybody's stating, I don't know how they can make a normal release moving forward, and anybody would pre-order, buy the product, or do anything special. As the filming of this, I had multiple Rudy promos supposed to be in the works with Mr. Poncho, the artist, who's now left the company, but I believe he handed over those artworks to the company. I don't know if those are still being made. I don't know what's happening. I'm guessing at a lot of things, so I don't know. But it's very, very sad. And it's very, very disappointing. I can't say I'm like angry cursing, but I'm very saddened by the whole thing. I think it fucking sucks. And I think a lot of the potential of MetaZoo and what's happened, I don't know how. I was nervous going into Hello Kitty. So instead of doing the 1,000 to 2,000 bundles and promo kits and all these things, I cut it down to like 150. And if it sold, I was going to order more and everything, which it did sell. And again, thankfully, I didn't sell at MSRP in these really high prices. I think it released, I sold my first MetaZoo kit for like $300. And you got a bunch of blisters. And I think I priced the boxes at $79 a box, and then like $5, $10 blisters or something like that. So nothing really crazy. So the people who bought from me didn't really lose all their money. But I saw a lot of messages, and I got a lot of messages from you all from other stores and other content creators who bought a lot of Hello Kitty and a lot of products at Amazon, $150 a box, $130 a box, all these things. And apparently all that's a bloodbath, and they're doing damage control. I think TCG Player, the original, refunded like the couple hundred people half their money, and it's just an absolute disaster of execution. And I don't know at this point how a company can overcome that. That's my concern. I don't know. Like, let's say in 2 months from now, actually, I don't even know when the last release of MetaZoo was. The native, 9 months ago. I think they released one set for the whole. I don't, if they release another MetaZoo product, I don't, and I don't mean just one little item I mean like a full set, a booster box, not like a little spell book or a little supplemental blister. I mean a regular set. I don't know how Like, I don't know how they would sell it. That's the problem. That's the issue. Because I don't know any LGS that would pre-order any boxes. I don't know how you would actually, like you can't even buy those at $70, $80 wholesale because it's too dangerous. So I guess nobody would order it, and then you wait till after release, and I don't know how the dynamics of that economy can work now. And the last time I've seen this happen with like Force Will and previous card games, and some of the card, I don't think MetaZoo is going to disappear, but I feel we're at a point where MetaZoo's growth in future there's going to be this small niche community that's going to love MetaZoo forever, including me, and going to have faith in it, but I don't see a major upward growth path without major hurdles. Because the problem is the consumer, the public, the LGS, the distribution, the whole model of everybody doesn't trust it. And since the trust has been fractured, you have to rebuild that. And the reason we know this is true is because now all of a sudden, every MetaZoo collector out there, we've seen unloading everything. We've seen the older MetaZoo products, like even Nightfall in first edition Cryptid Nation. You're seeing the people who loved and believed in the game. You're seeing all the old product come to market and everything unload. And that is what I'm using as evidence, as my opinion, how I know for the first time ever, the market was nuked. Because whenever, and before this, MetaZoo Native did really well. Like really, really well. The box prices held at 100, the supply was tight, the print run was low, the secondary market had singles worth $50 and $100 a card. But now that we've seen the Hello Kitty situation, all of a sudden, all these collectors and investors of MetaZoo are now like backing out and unloading everything they have, because you're seeing the product from all the old sets come to market. Where people who believe in the future of something, whether it's a Magic, a Pokemon, a Flesh and Blood, a Sorcery, a Weiss, a Yu-Gi-Oh!, doesn't matter what it is. People who believe in a product are not going to unload the older, out-of-print products unless they think the future has changed. And this is the first time, even through the Wilderness, the UFO overprinting, even through Seance and everything, I didn't see a bunch of the original MetaZoo product come to market and people wash their hands with it. And this was the first time I saw that. And I continue to see that. And we saw like Nightfall in the Cryptid Nation first edition. In other words, the really good sets, the iconic sets of what launched MetaZoo. We're seeing those particular products being unloaded on the market and people back out. And that was the defining moment that made me realize the small amount of collectors and investors, if they are liquidating, I don't know how they're going to recover from this. I don't know if the company's even making my next few Rudy promos. I don't know how they're going to be able to instill confidence. I mean, that's where it's at. That's my speech. And I am like the rest of you all. I'm going to wait to see what happens. But at this point in time, I think MetaZoo is going to become similar to Force of Will, where it's not going to, I think they're going to make products and be around, but I don't see any form of substantial growth or changes in the size of the player base unless they're going to need, let's put it this way. The odds are stacked against them so bad, I don't know if they can lift the weight of that kind of teeter-totter and they can tilt it back. I don't know what can be done. I don't know. In my opinion, you would need some sort of drastic, incredible communication, press release, shift in behavior, which based on going into 2024 and what has happened with Wilderness, UFO, and then the slow erosion, now the old product falling apart, and now the Hello Kitty thing, I don't know what can be done. I would need to know internal data, sales rates, what's going on, print runs, like what was the print run of Hello Kitty? Was it a lot? Was it a little? Did they print 50 or 100,000 boxes and they actually sold that many? Did they cut the print run to 5,000 boxes and it barely, I don't know where that's at. No, it's got to be somewhere in the middle. And we don't know what they're left with. We don't know how much is actually sold. No, we don't have any data on what's going on. And I don't know what internal stuff with the company is seeing that may be good or bad. and maybe I'm being overly negative, and so are you all. Or maybe there's some more positive that we just don't know about. We don't know. And when the market doesn't know, the market, just like Wall Street, will always assume the worst. And that's where it stands. As far as myself, I don't really have a ton of MetaZoo to unload or do anything. I have maybe a half of one pallet of Wilderness, a half of one pallet of UFO. I think I've got maybe half of a pallet of Seance and a little bit of, I don't really have. I've got a couple cases of Nightfall. I don't really have millions of dollars in MetaZoo, but I have a good position because I wanted to keep some for myself over the years. But I don't know. We need some catalyst to make people believe in it. There needs to be not only communication, but execution to make people want to move forward with MetaZoo. And I don't know if the company's going to be able to deliver that. And because of that, we're seeing the complete collapse of every single product back to the first edition. And that's where it stands. If any other updates come from MetaZoo or the company or anything positive happens, I'll be happy to report it. I don't know. I don't see any major price increases or decreases. I think where MetaZoo is going to be where it's going to be. I think next year they release more products, but I think it's going to be very small, and I don't see any major ups or downs anytime. I think it's going to take them multiple releases of amazing execution to get people to feel confident. And after Native, going into Hello Kitty, people felt pretty good because of how good they did with Native. And then, unfortunately, it went back to shit and fell apart, and everybody's upset. I guess I'm thankful I didn't sell a lot of Hello Kitty to patrons that over at the full MSRP or anything. I didn't do any of that. I know a lot of other stores and you all and content creators did, and there's a lot of problems out there. And I don't know how that's going to be resolved.
Folks! I'm here! If I release a new set of fucking MetaZoo Hello Kitty, and within 5 days it goes from 100 or 150 or whatever was the peak, down to $50, $60, we got a fucking problem, man. And if nothing is done, what happens is what we saw happen. And it's fucking depressing, it's fucking disappointing, and I know what that means. That means if another MetaZoo set, I'm assuming is coming out or supposed to come out, I don't know. If another MetaZoo set comes out, even if I order it, I don't know if anyone's going to buy it. Because everyone's going to be like, Rudy, why the fuck? I'm not, dude, are you kidding me? I'm going to buy it from you, but by the time the package shows up at my ex-girlfriend's house, I'm going to lose half my money before I even see your shipping label. I mean, and that creates market distortions and makes people angry at the store. The store gets angry, tells the distributor no. The distributor gets yikes, and then they order less from the manufacturer. It kind of backpedals through the system. Now, investing and collecting, historically, you should be the most aggressive, the most reckless, and the most timmy in times of utter despair and devastation. Right? So the question remains, how many people are really going to do that? How many people are going to try anything? I don't think I got anything left.
I guess I can say penis.